we're gonna have to move your chairs when we take the group picture. So if you
Okay.
want to put your stuff maybe in the podium for now, and then we'll move it back as soon after the group picture.
I just wanted to say hi. It's like been so long since I've actually had like physical.
I miss you, actually.
I realize how much my social life depends on events like this, which I always like badmouth going to. I don't want to go to that, and then I realize it's like the only time I actually see the people I like. You know, well, not the only time, but you know what I mean.
I totally do.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all fine. You know, it's rough. I mean, I know. I was just talking to Dave about all the people who are making demands on him and how rough that is. And I imagine it's just the same for you. We had a very hard meeting with Debug yesterday. I mean, hard in a good way. Like, you know, we're talking to the families of people who've been killed by police. And, anyway, we're gonna be hard at work on that as well as everything else. It's too much at once is the problem. Yeah. I feel like I'm not doing a good job. I mean, if you ask me personally.
See you later. Favorite people. I know. Now this is a picture. picture you need to get. Carolyn Gonat. Oh my God. Do you say her name Gonat or Gonat? All right, good morning, everyone. I'm going to ask folks to take their seats.
A little louder.
They're getting it. I got it. All right. I'm going to ask folks to take their seats, and if they don't, I'm going to start calling names. Jack Broadbent, if you could take your seat. Bob Powers. Oh, good. There's Tara. Kansan Chu. I'm going to ask if folks can grab their seats, including the speakers. Mayor Liccardo, Carl Guardino. I'm going to start calling people out. Good morning, everyone. If folks could grab their seats, your names are right on your chairs, so it shouldn't be complicated. Carl. I know, Sam, you were not meant to be put in a corner there. We just moved those chairs for pictures. Well, good morning. Are you ready for Bart to open? All right. This is a joyful, joyful day, and we couldn't have needed joy more than this period of time, and we couldn't have needed Bart more than now. So good morning, everyone. I know that this is an event that some in this group have been anticipating for over 30 years. My name is Cindy Chavez. I'm the chair of the Valley Transportation Authority and the president of the Board of Supervisors. Thank you, Kansan. I know we are very excited to be here today to see this station up close and personal. And how many of you are ready to ride a train? So I have to remind you that we are still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're going to be very cautious as we move through this ceremony. So we're asking people to make sure you're wearing your face coverings unless you are speaking, and if you can, be socially distanced. Before we get started with our program, we have so many dignitaries here, and I think it just speaks to the overall joy people have about this event. So usually I do the one clap, but we're just going to be rowdy and clap all the way through. Assemblymember Ash Kalra from District 27. Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, VTA Board Member, Supervisor Dave Cortese. San Jose Council Member and VTA Board Member, Magdalena Carrasco. San Jose Council Member and VTA Board Member, Lon Dieppe. San Jose Council Member and VTA Board Member, Chappie Jones. Oops. Thank you, Carl. I was so wildly enthusiastic, I didn't hold on to the list. Thank you for that. Sunnyvale Council Member and VTA Board Member and Vice Chair, Glenn Hendricks. Scott Haggerty, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. Ken Yeager, I didn't see Ken, but wherever Ken is, yay, Ken Yeager, former Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors member and VTA Board Member. Marie Blankley, VTA alternate and board member for VTA, and Gilroy City Council member. Darcy Paul, Cupertino City Council. Rich Constantine, Mayor of the City of Morgan Hill, and he is a PAC board member for VTA. And Rod Dierdon Sr., who literally needs no title. Let's give him a big round of applause. And if I missed anyone, blame Stacy and get on the list, and I'll introduce you later. So thank you very much for being here, and I cannot tell you how much anticipation I have been feeling the past few weeks since the announcement was made for the opening date of the service to Santa Clara County. When I was 8 years old, nobody needs to count how long ago that was, but when I was 8 years old, I saw the Bart train for the first time at the Fremont Bart station, and I remember being awestruck. I never imagined that Bart would play such a big role in my life, in not the many community meetings I would be going to, all of that. It's been my deep honor to be an advocate for this project for over 30 years. I want to just say something briefly about Bart, in particular in this period of time. Bart to Silicon Valley reflects the hope and the optimism of this region. We are now fully connected across the Bay Area, and this region is connected to us. It is a manifestation of our desire to be connected to opportunity, jobs, education, family, and entertainment. This is truly a historic moment for all of us, and for the 2 million people who live in Santa Clara County who voted for Bart, who volunteered on campaigns, who wrote letters to the editor, who went to community meetings, and on and on and on. This is going to make our region even more connected via a whole new mode of travel. I have been really privileged to be able to work with dedicated, fierce, persistent public servants. And I'm not just talking about the staff who've been amazing, but many of those leaders who've helped us throughout the years are here today. It was almost 1 year ago that our Federal Transportation Administrator, Jane Williams, was here to visit this station so she could see firsthand the great work and workmanship that had been done. And largely because of that work, she committed $125 million to VTA in the Federal Expedited Program delivery for the second phase of BART into downtown San Jose and Santa Clara. As we celebrate today, we still know there is much to do. I'm so sorry that the administrator could not be with us today, but I would like to call on Ray Tellis, the FTA Region 9 administrator, to make a few remarks. Oh, that's Milpitas? Oh, that's awesome. Well, he'll be joining us in Milpitas. Sorry about that. There are a few people that could not be with us today, and we're going to learn more about where are people going to be live? The recordings. They're right here? Okay, great. There are a few people who could not be with us today, but they're going to be here with us via video. And for those of us who've sent video messages, I want to thank Zoe Lofgren, Jim Bell, and Bob Witkowski, who could not be with us today, and we're going to cue those up. Oh, there.
Hello, I'm Senator Jim Bell, and I've worked on this project for the last 3 decades. I've helped build consensus in the city of San Jose, worked to secure over $2 billion in funding for the Bart extension, and continue to work hard in Sacramento legislation to make this dream a reality. I'm looking forward to service beginning to better help in our community have easier access across the bay by this extension, and it's a vital piece of infrastructure for our transportation here in San Jose. Transportation is important for our community because it bolsters the economic activity within a city by helping people travel quickly from their homes to their jobs. By getting more people to use public transportation, we are also able to reduce the amount of pollution and congestion on heavily trafficked roads. The presence of easily accessible and clean public transportation increases property values in our communities and allows us to expand affordable housing near stations. Thank you for your support for this great project.
It's a real delight to join virtually in the celebration of Bart to San Jose. I'd just like to say, finally. I've been working on this since the 1980s, from working with the Bart Board of Directors when I was on the Board of Supervisors, to helping with funding when I was in Congress. I can't wait for the day when people will jump on Bart and get to where they want to go. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bob Wieckowski, and this is truly a historic moment for Milpitas and Berryessa as Bart extends into Santa Clara County. It's an important moment for the entire area. As an elected city council member and now the state senator from the area, I have fought and advocated for funding for this extension. This will take cars off the road, improve our environment, help our economy, and really connect the transportation options for folks. Congratulations for everybody who worked on this. And now on to downtown.
This beautiful transit center, we're here at the Berryessa North San Jose Station, and there are literally dozens of transit options that connect here to Bart and VTA, which will take people all over the county. I know that Mayor Sam Liccardo is just as excited as I am to be here for this very special ceremony. I want to thank him for his leadership, both as a volunteer working on the campaign, his leadership while he was a member of the San Jose City Council, and wearing his hat as mayor of San Jose. Let's welcome Mayor Liccardo to say a few words.
Thank you, President Chavez, and thank you for your leadership in making this dream come true for our entire valley. This is a moment to raise our gaze, to lift our heads, to release the tension on our furrowed brows, to relax our shoulders. We have collectively endured much in recent weeks and months. And what we have endured has often been necessary and long overdue. We think about a dialogue on systemic racism. It has involved difficult conversations. It has involved a perfect storm of crises. Our global pandemic, worst unemployment we have seen in our lifetimes, and of course, our continued crisis of homelessness and so much else that we are grappling with. So it is really this moment that we all deserve, a moment of respite from our challenges, to celebrate what we can accomplish when we work together, to remind ourselves of the long and difficult road, the triumph of our collective resilience, to replenish our faith in the spirit of our valley, and perhaps to replenish our faith in ourselves. that amid the deepest of crises, the most painful of moments, that we can lift our gaze and once again give ourselves the freedom to imagine and to reimagine a different future for ourselves. Thank you for being here to be able to enjoy this moment. I know everyone who has gathered here today has had some significant role in making this happen. As they say, success has 1,000 parents, particularly when it involves a project of this size. I will briefly tell you my version of the Bart story in my own connection, my life. This was my introduction to politics in July of 2000, 20 years ago. I walked into a campaign office and met a man by the name of Carl Guardino. And just to correct the facts, I actually was not a volunteer, Cindy. He paid me $3,000 a month. Yes, $3,000. And 4 campaigns later, 135 VTA meetings and 20 years, and all I got for it is this crummy mask. But the good news is the Valley has this extraordinary opportunity. And I want to thank just a few of the folks, and I know it's not possible to thank everyone who had such an instrumental role. But first, I just want to thank Nuria Fernandez, who has done such an amazing job. Thank you. We are so blessed to have Nuria's leadership at VTA. She has, not just on this phase, but certainly on phase 2, managed to find every innovative, creative, possible way around every conceivable obstacle, and I am so grateful to serve with Nuria and her leadership. So of course, I want to thank Carl Guardino, who put this project on his back decades ago, and through 4 campaigns of 100-hour work weeks and not much sleep, we got here today. I certainly want to thank our partners at Bart. I know that our Bart Board Chair, Latifah Simon, is here. I know she'll be speaking in Milpitas. I want to thank all the Bart Board members. Bob Powers, thank you for all of your work and your team. Grace Kroniken before you. We know this happens because of partnership. And I want to thank all of the hardworking members of the VTA team. I know a few of them are here, but there are so many who have had their role in making this happen. And of course, it takes an incredible team. I want to thank Cindy Chavez, not just for all the years in which she's been involved in this, but particularly over the last year, along with Teresa O'Neill as chairs, really working through many of the challenging issues we know. We know it always gets hardest as you get closest to opening day with these complex projects, and grateful for their leadership. And thankful to all of our council members at the City of San Jose who never flinched in support of this project. Our home district, Council Member Lun Dieppe, thank you, Lun, and congratulations for bringing this wonderful station to your district. I saw Councilmember Magdalena Carrasco, whose district is just a stone's throw away, along with Councilmember Raul Perales, who is also immediately adjacent here. Vice Mayor Chappie Jones, I see. Councilmember Johnny Camus in his former role as well, a strong supporter of this project. And our city manager, Dave Sykes. There was never any question in the city of San Jose that we were going to get this done and we were going to push together. And I appreciate that partnership. But of course, in mentioning the city of San Jose, this started a few mayors before me. And I really thank and congratulate Ron Gonzalez for his vision. Ron, we didn't get it done as fast as you and I wanted. I recall being on that initial campaign talking about an opening day sometime, and, well, I won't say the date, but it's fair to say we missed that date. We got this one, though. And I want to thank all those who have been involved, in both organizations since the start. I know Tom Blaylock is here and will be speaking. I see Dan Richard, who I know played a critical role on the board in those days. Really grateful. Thank you, Dan. Grateful for those who were able to recognize that Perhaps the best thing, as the Chinese proverb says, the best thing we can do in this moment, if we want to be concerned about our future, was to have planted a tree a generation ago. The next best thing is to plant a tree today. There are those who planted this tree a generation ago. We are reaping the benefits, and we need to continue to lift our gaze, to reimagine our future. Let's use this moment as inspiration for our push in the days ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you. And I also want to just reintroduce Board President Latifah Simon from Bart, if she could stand and be recognized, along with directors Liz Ames and Janice Lee. We're so glad you're here. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them for being here. And I also see that we have a little blast from the past, Carolyn Gonotway in the back there, who came all the way from Utah to be with us today. That's awesome. Now, before all of you wonder why we don't have 400 elected officials speaking to you today, we're going to do some of that in the next station. So you have plenty of time to hear from all of us. I want to explain that we're going to have this next event just up the road or up the line in Milpitas, and we will share the love there as well. So when we ride the train up to Milpitas, we'll have another slate of leaders who get to introduce and give their perspective on this, so be patient. We know that this takes an entire community to support a dream like we are celebrating today. And one of the people who really helped rally us around this effort was President and CEO of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, Carl Guardino. Carl's relentless, I cannot overuse that word, relentless stewardship of the effort to improve transportation in Silicon Valley is actually well known, leading the campaigns to get voters behind the tax measure needed for this support and rallying the members of his group and the entire community to put their leadership and their weight across getting this across the finish line. Just quickly, a story about Carl is the day before one of the elections, I remember getting a phone call from him late at night, early in the morning. He doesn't sleep, so there's no real distinction there. And he said, hey, we're going to be at San Jose State. We've got to get these students to vote. And I believe that election was won by a handful of votes, and I am absolutely convinced it was Carl, his hand and literally his voice at work. We owe him a debt of gratitude that really there is no way to repay. Let's welcome Carl Guardino.
Today's celebration is due to 2.5 decades of inspiration and perspiration. It reminds me that in Silicon Valley, we truly are better together. We live in a time where transformative change is needed, where old and fresh wounds need to be addressed and healed, where we need to pull together rather than allow others to push us apart. I was deeply moved this week when Rich Constantine and Chappie Jones and Nasa Fligor wrote a letter to the editor in the San Jose Mercury News, calling to bring our nation, our country, our communities, our companies together for racial justice and equity. And I salute those leaders for standing up, speaking up, and stepping up. It pales in comparison what we are doing today, but it is analogous of what we can accomplish by being better together. private and public sector leaders with a vision and the values to move forward over decades without losing the dream, like Mayor Gonzalez, President Chavez, Mayor Liccardo, Mayor Reed, and so many others, partnering with our private sector through the Silicon Valley Leadership Group and others for not one or two or three or four campaigns where our voters showed their vision and values to reach into their own wallets rather than someone else's to fund this improvement. Business and labor coming together. Ben Field of the South Bay Labor Council, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, SVO, and so many others, setting aside differences that are important to have, knowing and determining to work together in a united way on efforts that we know benefit our economy and quality of life for all 8 million Bay Area residents. Better together. VTA and Bart, great organizations and individuals leading these agencies. There is always friction when working together, when the stakes are high, but putting the people and taxpayers of our communities first and delivering on the promise to our voters and taxpayers. Better together. The contractors and developers, AECOM, HNTB, Mott MacDonald, and so many others who labored for years to make this happen so that we could all look good, worked better together. To Bart board members, current and past, from Latifah Simon to Tom Blaylock and others, better together. We have all had a hand in this baby that is finally birthed today after 25 years in the womb. We did it because we know when we link a better economy with a better quality of life, that we are truly better together. So as we celebrate the birth of this baby, I thought it would be appropriate, as a father of 3, to make sure that baby is swaddled well in the Huggies that we can't give each other today due to social distancing, but being better together with hugs. So each speaker after me, I have not touched these Huggies, but this is my virtual hug to you today, because we truly are better together. Thank you.
Oh my God, Carl. He really does the corniest jokes of all of us, but they're always so good. Thank you very much. Let's give him another round of applause for all of his leadership and his work. I particularly see a lot of the men and women who worked on this physically out in the back, and let's give a round of applause to all the men and women who labored on this project and made it what it is today. I see you in back. I want you to know we see you, and we recognize that the safety of a project like this only happens because of each one of you. Well done, a job well done. Now, we're using today to make a very special tribute for 2 people. These 2 people were instrumental in making the dream of Bart to Silicon Valley come true. And I'm going to ask former San Jose Mayor Ron Gonzalez, who is also VTA board chair, I don't know how many times, and former Bart director Tom Blaylock to join me. Give them a wild round of applause. Mayor Gonzalez began talking about a train link from East Bay to San Jose as a county supervisor in the late 80s, early 90s, when the dot-com boom brought freeway traffic to a standstill all over the area. He is well known for championing this extension of BART to San Jose and Silicon Valley so well known, by the way, that former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown nicknamed him Mayor Bart. When it came time to figure out how to actually make this dream happen, Mayor Gonzalez turned to VTA, and that partnership was pivotal, along with reaching out to the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, the men and women of the labor movement, and neighborhood associations across the county. In winning voter approval of tax measures that would enable us to maintain this alignment. Tom Blaylock was an engineer for the city of Fremont when BART began passenger service in the East Bay. Right away, he wanted that service to come to Warm Springs. So what better way to advocate for that than join the BART Board of Directors, which he did in 1994. He has been a tireless advocate for the project, a visionary when it comes to sustainability and art, and endless sources of inspiration for the project team. Tom's advocacy for the Warm Springs station made way for BART to Silicon Valley. We are indebted to his leadership, his guidance, I was going to say his ever kindness to us at days when we felt like this was not going to happen. He never lost the faith. And between him and Mayor Gonzalez, we are here today because leadership matters and relationships matter, and that's what makes dreams become a reality. So we have a token of our appreciation for each of you for your unwavering commitment to the mobility for people in the valley, in Santa Clara Valley. The partnership between the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority and BART is very unique. And we're going to talk about that after I get a chance to get Tom and Ron a chance to speak. And for each of you, a token of our appreciation for your leadership. I'm going to have you guys stand in the middle with these. Please, if you could stand here, let's do a picture. I'm going to ask them just to pose for a picture. Oh, yeah. I'm going to ask if, Tom, if you would like to say a few words. I'll take this from you. And you're welcome to do that right from that podium.
Thank you very much. As I has been a former BART director, I was pleased to be invited here because I worked so hard to get BART to Warm Springs, which was the door to San Jose, or VTA's connection. So in my 6 terms, which was 24 years, it was when Mayor Gonzalez was president of the VTA board, and we got together and had the staffs, where'd he go? Oh, I had the staffs hammer out this joint agreement to allow BART to serve service into Santa Clara Valley. So that was a partnership that we started way back then, and it continues today. Partnerships are powerful to get things done. I believe in partnerships. My proudest moment on the BART board was when we opened Warm Springs Station in 2017, in March of 2017, and many of you were there. The second proudest moment of my BART career, if you will, in my aftermath of my BART career, is to be here with you all today. Congratulations on this opening. Thank you very much for inviting me.
And now, if Mayor I'll never stop calling you that. Mayor Gonzalez, if you can come forward and share your thoughts. Let's give him a round of applause for his leadership on this.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Way in the back. Good morning. All right. It's a day of celebration. Thank you, President Chavez. And as Willie Brown once said, once you're a mayor, you're always a mayor. So that's okay. You have no idea how excited I am to be here today. You don't. You truly don't. How many of you can remember when you were a young boy or girl and you had the chance to go to Disneyland for the first time? Raise your hand. Everybody remembers that. I think I remember my first visit to Disneyland and my very first visit to a San Francisco Giants game. Two memorable moments in my childhood. Well, I feel today like the first time I visited Disneyland, and I'm about to board the monorail to Tomorrowland. 31 years ago, in my freshman year on the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, my transportation policy aide, a young man by the name of Henry Servin, gave me a comprehensive proposal on how we could extend BART service to Silicon Valley and San Jose. Now, I must admit, I was skeptical that this could be accomplished, but Henry convinced me that it could be, and so the journey began 31 years ago. What I realized was that if we were going to bring traffic relief to the Bay Area, and particularly to the South Bay, extending BART to Silicon Valley would be the most cost-effective way to transport thousands of Silicon Valley commuters, reduce traffic congestion, facilitate smart growth, and improve air quality. Now, the staff in my supervisor office, which included the previously mentioned Henry Servin, and our MC tonight, or today, Supervisor Cindy Chavez, and I started meeting with dozens of neighborhood associations to request their support for the specific route BART would take coming into our region. Cindy, I'm sure, remembers that early in that journey, it was difficult to find leaders who shared my vision to extend BART to Silicon Valley. However, I stayed committed to the cause because of the overwhelming support I found with neighborhood and city leaders. While this process turned out to be laborious, I found great joy in educating people of the potential of this project, getting them excited about the possibilities, and in turn, they became enthusiastic about the potential of connecting San Jose and Silicon Valley to the rest of the Bay Area. Fast forward to 1999, and as a newly elected San Jose mayor, I brought the same enthusiasm and passion of bringing BART to the South Bay and made it a core component of my mayoral priorities. During my first State of the City speech that year, I proposed that San Jose be connected to BART. But as I continued my advocacy, I realized that extending BART to our region was going to be a multi-decades project and would go well beyond my time as San Jose's mayor. So I started building friends and supporters of this vision. Those supporters were needed to expand support of this effort at the regional, state, and federal levels. And as I did this, I found believers in the East Bay, including BART Director Tom Blaylock and Alameda County Supervisor Scott Haggerty. When we did the groundbreaking for this station a few years ago, Supervisor Haggerty brought the first meeting agenda regarding our initial discussion of this project. We should find that and frame it and hang it somewhere. But besides having to find local, regional, state, and federal supporters, I knew that we needed an engine to pull this train into this station. Because again, this work would go well beyond my time as mayor. The best organization I thought could be that engine was the Silicon Valley Leadership Group and its CEO, Carl Guardino. So as the saying goes, partnering with Carl was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. That friendship quickly produced believers at the state level when then California Governor Gray Davis earmarked $760 million for the BART extension to San Jose. Now, our polling showed very high voter support for the extension, but as always, politics can be difficult, and the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, at that time serving as the pre-VTA Transit Board, blocked a tax plan that would have required a simple majority vote. So as much as politics can be frustrating and painful, my 24 years in public service taught me that if you have a dream and a passion, which you know will benefit the community, you will find creative solutions and new partners to reach your goals. So working with Carl, we convinced the new Valley Transportation Authority Board to place a 30-year sales tax for BART extension on the November 2000 ballot. It was overwhelmingly passed by county voters with a 70.4 yes vote. That election and the great voter response gave me the energy to stay committed to the cause. Support at the state level soon attracted supporters at the federal level, and I do want to extend my personal appreciation to my longtime friend, Senator Dianne Feinstein, who was always there to help at the federal level. Special thanks also to former Transportation Secretary and San Jose Mayor Norm Mineta for his support. The family of BART supporters continued to grow over the years, including Congressional Representatives Zoe Lofgren, Mike Honda, and the entire Bay Area congressional delegation. Also, I don't want to forget the many staff members from both the VTA and BART teams for their diligent work over 3 decades to build this vision. Last but certainly not least, the innovative staff members of my county supervisor and San Jose mayor's offices who supported me along this journey. As I predicted, my 2 terms as San Jose mayor ended, and there was still much work to do to get this project to today's celebration. After ending my terms as mayor, I stayed close to the project, and for many years, I've co-chaired the leadership group's Transportation Policy Committee. While I wasn't mayor, I knew the project would continue because of the strong engine of Carl's leadership. And by that time, many political leaders understood how much Santa Clara County voters wanted this project to succeed. That was proven additionally by another tax in 2008 that was overwhelmingly successful. I want to congratulate my good friend Carl Gordino and the Silicon Valley Leadership Group for shepherding this project to its phase 1 completion. My desire to serve in public office for 24 years was always focused on helping improve the quality of life of others. My priorities always included affordable housing, education, public safety, and transportation. I'm proud of the many things that I, along with the support of my many community and political leaders, accomplished for those priorities in our communities. But one of my greatest accomplishments, and if I may humbly say my legacy, is staying true to my vision that became the dream of a regional coalition of supporters and leaders that have pushed and brought the BART Phase 1 project to fruition today. That was my dream over 31 years ago, when people said I was crazy to even talk about it. And I've stayed committed to the desire to contribute to a large regional mass transit project that will help our region's commuters get to work and back home in time for dinner. My sincere and heartfelt thanks to everyone who kept this project moving forward. Congratulations to the people of Santa Clara County. You've now been connected to the greatest and largest mass transit system in the Bay Area. Finally, to our leaders at VTA and BART, thank you. Now, get some rest over the weekend, and then back to our next objective, connecting these trains with downtown San Jose and beyond. As long as I'm on this planet, you can count on my support in whatever way and shape that's needed. I'll continue to be an advocate for Phase 2 and beyond for as long as I can. You can count me in. While we're not at Disneyland, we now will have the opportunity to take our first ride on that monorail to Tomorrowland. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mayor Gonzalez and Tom Blaylock. Let's give them another round of applause. They just really did amazing, amazing work for years and years. I don't think there's anything, there are very few things that are as challenging as having organizations from different places with different cultures and different ideas working collectively together. But through the leadership of the last two speakers, we wouldn't have been here without them. Let me start one with Bob Powers. Bob is worked behind the scenes for years to help us get this project going, and now he is the general manager of Bart, having taken over that role not too long ago. But he's been close to this project for many, many years, working to make it happen safely, happen efficiently, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his efforts and deeply grateful for his leadership. Please give a warm welcome to Bob Powers, the general manager of VTA. Of Bart. See, they work so closely together. There you go.
General Manager of VTA, okay. Let's talk after this, okay? So my name is Bob Powers. I am the General Manager at Bart. And what an opportunity and honor for me to be up here with these speakers here. I feel so privileged. Many people have come before me. A lot of Bart GMs, a lot of elected officials have put in so much work to this project. So I happen to be the general manager at Bart right now, seeing this thing through. So first, just a couple of thank yous. First, I wanted to start by thanking the frontline men and women who are operating transit, whether it's Bart or VTA or AC Transit right now, who have been operating transit since the beginning of this. Without their service and dedication, they really are heroes, that many of our frontline and essential workers would not have been able to get into their jobs to do their work that we needed them to do. So I just wanted to start there and thank those folks. And those are the folks that this will be in revenue service tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And those folks are going to be operating these trains and maintaining the stations. So just a thank you to our frontline men and women who have been doing that and who will take on this task tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Secondly, I wanted to thank all the elected officials, all the community leaders here, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. Without your leadership, we wouldn't be here today. I know that. I think everybody here knows that. So I haven't met all of the elected officials here. I know some of them. A lot of you have done so much on this project, and I just wanted to thank you personally for that. Thank you. So there's been a lot of general managers at Bart before me, starting with the most recent Grace Kreniken, Dorothy Duggar, Tom Margro, and they really have been a partner with VTA. It was mentioned, the O&M, the comprehensive agreement that was signed back in 2001, that really started and consummated this partnership with Bart and VTA and connecting VTA and the city of San Jose and the county to the Bart system. So I wanted to just to build on that just for a minute. There have been a lot of, you see a lot of the superstructure and the Bart trains that are going to be running here. There's been a lot of work done behind the scenes as part of that comprehensive agreement that was in 2001 that many of you don't know about, that, that is a parallel process. So I did want to take a moment as the general manager just to call out a few people. I think it's very important. They put in a lot of time and a lot of work, as many of us have here, but a few hidden gems behind the scenes. So we have folks like from our legal departments. You have Vic Papalardo and Kim Tavola, Bernadette Lambert, and Evelyn Ho. And I'm not telling you what teams they're from. They're both Bart and VTA, but it's that partnership that was just discussed before that brought this, these other elements that allowed us to go into revenue service here tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. There are a couple of other people I do want to call out. I see her sitting back there, Carolyn Gonat and Carl Holmes. Many texting and email traffics and late night meetings to make sure that progress was being moving forward, that the partnership was there, that the path was charted to move forward. But without Carolyn and Carl and the Victor and Kim Tavola, Bernadette Lambert, I just want to thank you. You made my job a lot easier. And I know, and Nuria can speak for herself, she's the GM of VTA. Your commitment and dedication really is beyond resolve. So thank you for that. And then the last thing I do want to say is I see the men and women standing back there who designed and built this extension here that are going to operate the extension, whether it's our consulting partners or our contracting partners. I wanted to thank you. And then I do want to make sure that we give a shout out to our labor partners. Just a few of them: SEIU, ATU, AFSCME, to name a few. They're the ones that delivered this. The carpenters, the laborers, the iron workers, they're the ones that delivered this. They're the ones that are going to operate this, and they're the ones that are going to deliver phase 2. So thank you for all of that. And without anything else, I will turn this back over to Cindy.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you so, so much. I am also really proud to introduce our final speaker today, and that is our General Manager and CEO, Nuria Fernandez. And let me just say, one of the most critical things that we did as a VTA board was choose the next general manager, because I think what Mayor Gonzalez pointed out is that this has been a historic labor of love, and we needed somebody who had an engineering background, who could deal with the complexities of a project like this, work with another agency, work with our current board, jump in and get to know everybody. And 6 years ago, we chose Nuria Fernandez to be that person. We're so confident with her, and her leadership continues as she works with Bart to get phase 2 going, because we just never rest on our laurels. I want to thank you very much, Nuria, on behalf of the board and our community, for your advocacy, your ability, all of your abilities to build partnerships with various communities, particularly here as people were getting to know you. Let's give Nuria a big round of applause and welcome her to the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and welcome to all of you. You describe today's event and this project as historic, and that is the appropriate word for this moment. And I want to thank you for your fierce leadership, because we could have not gotten this far without you. So thank you. And to the audience, I want to say good morning. As the General Manager CEO for the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, I dare say, I want to officially welcome you, all of you here, as we embark on a very new era for Santa Clara County. This is a time when new pathways for mobility are more important than ever. We need to strengthen our network of connectivity, as our communities are suffering from the effects of the COVID pandemic, and they're beginning to carefully and recover during this period. Also, we are in a moment that has sparked a movement, yet again, by a racial injustice. But like air, we will rise. And that is why, thank you. That is why public transportation is so important, because it is a bridge for our communities. Public transportation is the greatest equalizer. It provides access and to opportunities and accessibility to everyone, no matter, regardless of race, economic standing, or physical ability. And those are the values that cross into the work that we do on projects just like this one. When VTA took on construction of the biggest infrastructure project in our county's history, it was much more than just trains and tracks and a couple of stations. We made significant improvements, like restoring a habitat. We built and enhanced roadways. We installed new flood controls. And while we did all this work, which was required in some part, we did so because it was so important to bring to our community an enhanced quality of life, and not just having a train, a parking garage, but also creating an environment that blended with the neighbors that we are going to be sharing this space with. One of the examples of the projects that many of you may not be aware of is the Upper Penitential Creek Trail System, which we partnered with the City of San Jose's Park and Recreations Department and Valley Water on a major flood control. And then we also connected a bike trail to the Berryessa station. So there's bicycle and pedestrian ways that could get you here as also. This station is not just a place for coming to and connecting to. It becomes a new reality that helps not only spur development, but helps continue providing access to those who are seeking jobs. It has been described by my friend Carl Guardino as yet another movement in connecting and building that circle around the Bay. So we started many years ago, and we're here today thanks to the hard work of men and women, of the heroes and sheroes that were mentioned earlier, that made it possible, of all the contractors and consultants and every firm that contributed to make this a reality. When the first shovel was put in the ground on April 12, 2012, we knew there was a long road ahead and a lot of incredible work that needed to be done. And here we are on June 12 of 2020. Yes, please don't count the years in between. And we have made it. There's not enough time today to name everyone who contributed to this work, but there are a few people I want to call upon that were involved with the early stages all the way till today. And it's because of the trees that they planted, I can stand and enjoy the shade. My predecessor, former General Manager Michael Burns, when I came on board in 2013, he handed me the shovel and he said, you need to keep digging. Not your grave, but you need to keep digging and make sure this project gets done. To the Chief Project Officer at the time, Carolyn Gonat, who's standing back there, came all the way from Salt Lake City to be with us, and her team, Dennis Radcliffe, Krishna Devi, Bernice Alanis, Rosemary Gonzalez, Leila Hedayat, Brandy Childress, and Brent Pierce. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to today's leadership, our new Chief Bart Program Delivery, Takis Alpias, and the energy, enthusiasm, and creativity that he has brought, that has now made it available and possible for us to cross the finish line. This morning I was reminded by a statement by Thomas Paine that said, I love a person that smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows by brave reflections. And that captures the essence of this project and everyone who felt at times that we had hit and we were in such a despair that we could not see our way through the end. And to say to you, we are here today. And I want to raise a glass in celebration of the partnership with Bart and the leadership of its general manager, Bob Powers, Shane Edwards, Tamar Allen, Carl Holmes, and so many others that worked with us over the past year to make sure that it was not going to be yet another month, yet another year, but it was going to happen now. Thank you. And lastly, I want to thank the VTA Board of Directors for your support, your patience, and understanding. I know it was not easy at times. I want to thank the team at VTA, starting with my Deputy General Manager, Raj Srinath, and all of the men and women who were part of the who were part of not only working on the documents through our legal department and our procurement department, but that also contributed in small, medium, and large ways to make today a reality. Thank you. We did it. And now I would like to invite you to cut the ribbon. I think we've heard a lot of speeches. We're ready to go in and see what all the fuss is about. So this is, let me ask the speakers to join me to cut the ribbon, and then a small group of us are going to be taking a ride to the station in Milpitas. So thanks again to all of you for being here and for helping us celebrate.
Thank you. Give Nuria a big round of applause. I'm going to ask the press, just to let you know, we're going to cut the ribbon facing that way. So if you want to go around, follow staff. They'll take you into the side door. I'm going to ask if the speakers could please. Oh, I'm sorry. They changed their idea. You guys, if the press could stay where you are, the speakers could come behind. If I could ask the speakers to join us. And then what I'd like to do is ask also if Latifah Simon could join us, and also Rod Deardon, if he could join us.
excited about Milpitas BART station opening because we're finally able to connect Bay Area public transit almost full circle. I'm really excited for my daughter because she's actually here with us 6 months old when passenger service is actually opening. So she doesn't have anything to wait for, and I think this is what it's all about, making it better for the future generations. I'm Yulia, and I'm looking forward to riding BART from the VTA Milpitas station.
My name is Dan. I live in San Francisco. I like to take BART because I can use it to get around different places of the Bay Area. I don't have a car. I like avoiding all of the traffic that you always see. Now that the BART will connect to the light rail system, I'll be able to take that there. I could take it to Alviso. Those are things that I really would have had more trouble getting to that now I'll be able to get to more easily on a weekend. My name is Dan, and I'm excited to take BART to the VTA Milpitas station.
Hi, my name is Garima Raheja. I'm a student at the University of California, Berkeley. So I'm part of Beacon, which is the Bay Area Environmentally Aware Consulting Network. As a club dedicated to environmentalism, we take public transportation. We want to take transportation that's accessible to every member in the club. The BART creates access for students here to come to Berkeley, but also for Berkeley students to come here and share their resources with folks in the communities here. I'm Garima, and I'm excited to take BART to Silicon Valley.
Up until now, I've been taking BART from downtown Berkeley to Warm Springs, which is about an hour ride, and then either taking an Uber, having my mom make the long drive up to Warm Springs to drive me back down to visit my family. So now that BART's here, I can take BART all the way down to San Jose. If you're coming from the South Bay to San Francisco or to Oakland, you don't have to worry about the traffic, potential accidents, and then also leaving your car, paying for parking because it's generally expensive. I'm Milo, and I'm excited to take BART to visit my parents in San Jose.
VTA offers paid parking for VTA and BART passengers at the Berryessa and Milpitas transit centers. You can park in a parking lot or a parking garage. You can pay for parking online, on your smartphone via the Passport app, or in person at pay stations located at the transit centers. There are 3 types of parking permits available: a monthly permit, a daily permit, or a long-term parking permit, which allows you to park for longer than 24 hours while you are on a trip or need to leave your car for multiple days. Here's how to pay in person. At the entrance of the parking garage, a display will show you how many spaces are available on each garage level to make it easy for you to find a spot. Once you've parked, you will need to pay at a pay station. Make sure you know your license plate number, as you'll need it to pay. Pay stations are located on the ground floor of garages and near lot entrances. To pay, enter your license plate number. Next, choose whether you want to buy a daily permit or a long-term permit. If you need a long-term permit, select how many days you need to park. Finally, enter your payment type. You can pay with cash, credit card, or debit card. That's all there is to it. Now you're ready to catch that train or bus.
Hi, I'm Ron Gonzalez, former Santa Clara County Supervisor and San Jose Mayor. Over 31 years ago, I launched the effort to bring BART to Santa Clara County. Over those 3 decades, I worked with neighborhood, city, county, regional, state, and federal officials to bring BART to Santa Clara County. Most importantly, I partnered with the Silicon Valley Leadership Group and its CEO, Clara Gordino. That partnership led to our first major success, the 2000 BART measure sales tax. Now, 31 years later, I want to thank all the leaders who worked together to keep this project moving forward. Congratulations, Santa Clara County. Working together, we did it.
Hello, I'm Senator Jim Bale, and I worked on this project for the last 3 decades. I've helped build consensus in the city of San Jose, worked to secure over $2 billion in funding for the BART extension, and continue to work hard in Sacramento on legislation to make this dream a reality. I'm looking forward to service beginning to better help in our community have easier access across the bay by this extension, and it's a vital piece of infrastructure for our transportation here in San Jose. Transportation is important for our community because it bolsters the economic activity within a city by helping people travel quickly from their homes to their jobs. By getting more people to use public transportation, we are also able to reduce the amount of pollution and congestion on heavily trafficked roads. The presence of easily accessible and clean public transportation increases property values in our communities and allows us to expand affordable housing near stations. Thank you for your support for this great project.
It's a real delight to join virtually in the celebration of Bart to San Jose. I'd just like to say, finally. I've been working on this since the 1980s, from working with the Bart Board of Directors when I was on the Board of Supervisors to helping with funding when I was in Congress. I can't wait for the day when people will jump on Bart and get to where they want to go. Congratulations.
Hey, Silicon Valley. Long-awaited moment is finally here. June 13th, BART is opening in Silicon Valley, Milpitas, and San Jose at the Berryessa station, connecting the 5 Bay Area counties in the entire BART system. We've all been pushing on this for a long time, in my case for nearly 20 years, but this comes at exactly the moment we need it to help really propel our region into a recovery, to get a lot of folks back to work, and provide a lot of families accessible transportation. We hope you'll join us.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bob Wachowski, and this is truly a historic moment for Milpitas and Berryessa as BART extends into Santa Clara County. It's an important moment for the entire area. As an elected city council member and now the state senator from the area, I have fought and advocated for funding for this extension. This will take cars off the road, improve our environment, help our economy, and really connect the transportation options for folks. Congratulations for everybody who worked on this. And now, on to downtown.
When I was 8 years old, I remember getting a chance to go see the brand new BART station as it opened in Fremont. And I remember being awestruck by the vision of it, seeing the train. I had no idea how important a role that BART was going to play in the rest of my life. And one of the opportunities I had was to go to a school outside of my community because I had transportation. So I could take BART from my neighborhood and my community into Hayward to get to go to high school. The other thing is I remember it being a very big deal when my whole family got on BART to go see a Broadway show that was showing in San Francisco. This is what BART does. It connects people to opportunities, creates memories, and I am just so honored to be a part of BART opening in Berryessa and in our entire Silicon Valley.
Hello, I'm Ray Tellis, the Regional Administrator for the Federal Transit Administration, FTA, Region 9 in San Francisco. On behalf of FTA Acting Administrator Jane Williams, I would like to congratulate VTA and BART on the opening of the BART Silicon Valley Phase 1 extension to Berryessa. FTA is pleased to have supported this project with a $900 million capital investment grant. Thank you to VTA GM Nuria Fernandez as well as BART GM Bob Powers for the partnership that has gotten us to this important milestone. This extension of the BART rail system from Fremont to Berryessa Road in San Jose will provide critical service and efficient transit service to thousands of residents both in San Jose as well as throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. We are also pleased to partner with VTA on the Silicon Valley Phase 2 extension, the first project to receive an allocation under FTA's Expedited Project Delivery Pilot Program. So congratulations. I look forward to June the 13th when I can ride with others on the new system. Thank you.
excited about Milpitas BART station opening because we're finally able to connect Bay Area public transit almost full circle. I'm really excited for my daughter because she's actually here with us 6 months old when passenger service is actually opening. So she doesn't have anything to wait for, and I think this is what it's all about, making it better for the future generations. I'm Yulia, and I'm looking forward to riding BART from the VTA Milpitas station.
My name is Dan. I live in San Francisco. I like to take BART because I can use it to get around different places of the Bay Area. I don't have a car. I like avoiding all of the traffic that you always see. Now that the BART will connect to the light rail system, I'll be able to take that there. I could take it to Alviso. Those are things that I really would have had more trouble getting to that now I'll be able to get to more easily on a weekend. My name is Dan, and I'm excited to take BART to the VTA Milpitas station.
Hi, my name is Gordy. I'm a student at the University of California, Berkeley. So I'm part of Beacon, which is the Bay Area Environmentally Aware Consulting Network. As a club dedicated to environmentalism, we take public transportation. We want to take transportation that's accessible to every member in the club. The BART creates access for students here to come to Berkeley, but also for Berkeley students to come here and share their resources with folks in the communities here. I'm Garima, and I'm excited to take BART to Silicon Valley.
Up until now, I've been taking BART from downtown Berkeley to Warm Springs, which is about an hour ride, and then either taking an Uber, having my mom make the long drive up to Warm Springs to drive me back down to visit my family. So now that BART's here, I can take BART all the way down to San Jose. If you're coming from the South Bay to San Francisco or to Oakland, you don't have to worry about the traffic, potential accidents, and then also leaving your car, paying for parking because it's generally expensive. I'm Milo, and I'm excited to take BART to visit my parents in San Jose.
VTA offers paid parking for VTA and BART passengers at the Berryessa and Milpitas transit centers. You can park in a parking lot or a parking garage. You can pay for parking online, on your smartphone via the Passport app, or in person at pay stations located at the transit centers. There are 3 types of parking permits available: a monthly permit, a daily permit, or a long-term parking permit, which allows you to park for longer than 24 hours while you are on a trip or need to leave your car for multiple days. Here's how to pay in person. At the entrance of the parking garage, a display will show you how many spaces are available on each garage level to make it easy for you to find a spot. Once you've parked, you will need to pay at a pay station. Make sure you know your license plate number, as you'll need it to pay. Pay stations are located on the ground floor of garages and near lot entrances. To pay, enter your license plate number. Next, choose whether you want to buy a daily permit or a long-term permit. If you need a long-term permit, select how many days you need to park. Finally, enter your payment type. You can pay with cash, credit card, or debit card. That's all there is to it. Now you're ready to catch that train or bus.
You're this way, sir. Mr. Hunter, you're good to go. Take your best toss and pull up breath.
Is Scott Hagerty here? Supervisor Scott Hagerty?
Okay. So I'm going to ask folks to please grab their seats. We're going to begin in just a moment. I'm going to make sure I have all our speakers here with us. It's really an honor to be in the Milpitas Station. This is awesome.
Mr. Haggerty's restroom.
Great. So as we'll get people to grab their seats, and we'll begin in just a moment. We're just waiting on a couple more folks. Anybody can sing? Oh my God, Carmen will get real. Did all the elected officials sign in? Yeah, already?
Get it checked off on this side.
Oh, great. All right. Well, good morning. Is it still morning? I don't know. We've been driving around in that BART train. It's awesome. And I just wanted to say a special woohoo. Are you all excited to be here? Let's have some. I want to feel the joy in the room. This is a joyful time. So I just had a chance to ride the inaugural BART Silicon Valley train, and all of you will have a chance to take a ride on this inaugural train in just a bit. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Cindy Chavez. I'm the VTA board chair, and I'm on the board of supervisors in Santa Clara County, and I could not be more honored to be with you this morning. This station is literally 30 years in the making, and when I look around, it is beautiful. It's got beautiful windows and beautiful architecture, and it demonstrates our respect for all of the writers and everybody who works for BART and VTA. It really demonstrates that we have pride in ourselves and in all of you. I know we're excited to see the stations up close and personal and to ride the train. I do want to remind you, I am the official mom today that we're dealing with the COVID pandemic. We're going to need you to be mindful of precautions, wear your mask, and keep a safe distance when you can. And so with that, I'm going to introduce a number of folks who are with us today that I'm very pleased that are joining us. Assemblymember Clara, former chair of the board of VTA. Former board chair and Sunnyvale council member, Teresa O'Neill. VTA board member and former board chair and member of the board of supervisors, Dave Cortese. Milpitas vice mayor and VTA board member, Bob Nunez. Milpitas council member, Karina Dominguez. Milpitas council member, Carmen Montano. And I think I've got all the electeds that are here. I see people pointing, but people are, oh, well, not the ones that are speaking. I'm going to introduce my, vice chair of the VTA board and member of the Sunnyvale City Council, Glenn Hendricks. And anybody else, you can sign up with Manolo and I'll make sure we introduce you. Thank you. So thank you again for being here. When I look around here today, I know I see a lot of memories in the making. You all, the leaders here, were instrumental in making this happen today. I want to offer my very sincere gratitude and congratulations for your years of hard work that culminated in this beautiful place. I've been privileged to collaborate with many of you on the project, on this project that will serve tens of thousands of people throughout our county and the Bay Area. You're going to hear from several amazing leaders who had a hand in making this project come to life. And in order to make this incredible thing happen, you know, the main thing we need is funding. I mean, beyond vision and sweat and tears, we still need the money. The Federal Transportation Administration has been a strong partner supporting this project. And unfortunately, while the FTA Administrator, Jane Williams, could not be here today, our Region 9 Administrator is here to join us in place. Please give a warm welcome to Ray Chavez, and please join us to give a few remarks.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Certainly privileged to be here this morning with all of you. I don't know who arranged that beautiful, perfect skyline there. That's absolutely gorgeous, testament to this wonderful structure and station. So on behalf of FTA Acting Administrator Jane Williams, it's my privilege this morning to congratulate VTA and Bart on the opening of the Silicon Valley Extension Phase 1. The Federal Transit Administration is pleased to have contributed towards this project with a $900 million capital investment grant. I certainly want to take the opportunity also to thank you, Nuria, as VTA's GM, General Manager, CEO, and you, Bart, General Manager, for the partnership that we have enjoyed that has got us to this and important milestone. Certainly, hearty congratulations. This extension of the BART system from Fremont to the station we were at in Berryessa will provide fast and efficient transit service connecting the residents of San Jose and throughout the San Francisco Bay Area to jobs and other critical services. So it's quite remarkable what this project in particular does to open that gateway into San Jose. I want to recognize our Director of Projects, Bernardo Bustamante. I saw him standing there, but he seems to have disappeared. There you are. For leading the FTA's oversight effort on this project. We're also pleased and privileged to partner with VTA, and I heard it many times this morning at the other event, on the Silicon Valley Phase 2 extension to downtown San Jose and Santa Clara. That project is the first project to receive an allocation from the Federal Transit Administration under its Expedited Project Delivery Pilot Program. And that means expedited, right? The key word there. And so where all the remarks talked about getting to that next phase and getting to downtown San Jose and beyond, we certainly want to stand as your partners once again to get you there quickly so that you can serve your transit patrons. I want to recognize all of the transit workers that have served us during this pandemic. FTA is proud of them and certainly privileged to be in the business of supporting transit. That lifeline to mobility, essential workers, accessibility, and people with disabilities. So I want to say congratulations. I was thrilled to ride on that first train here this morning. Thank you.
I also wanted to just acknowledge a few more elected officials that I saw. Former Assembly Member Nora Campos. There she is now. Cupertino City Council Member Darcy Paul. The Mayor of Fremont, Lily May. Former BART Board Director Tom Blaylock. former supervisor in all things transit, Rod Deardan, Senior, former Mayor Ron Gonzalez, Ben Field from the South Bay Labor Council, and board directors Liz Ames and Janet Lee. If we could give them a round of applause as well. When the idea of bringing BART to Santa Clara County really got off the ground, we knew we were going to need federal support, and we had to build on it, and we needed champions, real champions in the Congress who were going to just fight every day to help us get our dreams, have our dreams come true. And we were very fortunate in the South Bay to have an incredible group of elected officials who fought for our needs. And 20 years ago, we needed almost $1 billion in federal funding. Congressman Mike Honda was there to champion that need and help us win that funding. Mike, thank you for all you've done in the South Bay. We're forever indebted to you, and we'd love to hear a few words from you. Welcome, Congressmember Honda.
I think Biden does it this way. Let's hang on his left ear. Well, thank you, Madam Chair, Cindy Chavez, Nuria, for the invitation. It's a little strange to put on a sport jacket, slacks, and good shoes after being in shelter in place for almost 3 months. My hairdo does show that. My grandchildren thought I was growing a mullet, but I just didn't have a chance. Well, nobody would cut my hair. But I think that's a situation that we all share. But I wanted to thank all the staff and the leadership of the staff from its conception to today, and also towards its completion. To all the political leadership, for many of whom have taught me how to go about lobbying and securing funding, things like that. So just want to thank Cindy for the recognition, but it really does belong to all of you who have been my teachers in the past. So the thoughts I just wanted to share with you is that this concept to completion is really a democracy in action. Transit used to mean moving more people from one place to another in a reasonable amount of time, like in the East Coast, where people moved out to the suburbs to escape the inner cities. But we have a different concept of our mass transit. So in the 9 Bay Area counties, from 47 to 61, it meant also addressing traffic congestion. And later on, fossil fuel and environmental mitigation, also jobs to housing mitigation. Rapid transit started to be discussed in terms of air quality, quality of life, spending more time with families, reducing our carbon footprint. This is all true, but today we have greater principles that have been considered, and that is social justice, environmental justice, climate, micro, macro, and global. Then recently, with terms like institutionalized racism, I thought of terms like wrong side of the tracks, dividing neighborhoods, policing the system came to mind. And so I concluded that the Bay Area in general, in Santa Clara County specifically, our real determination and learning has been built on the concept of what do people want? Address collectively, democratically, willing to accomplish it. And a lot of our leaders have shown that, and private industry have shown that through folks like Clara making sure that folks understand that dipping into our pocket first and then putting our hand out for help is the way we do things in this area. So we did, and we are doing it today. And we are committed and have been committed to addressing all the justice issues while we complete this project. We began for the right reasons. We've learned the democratic process. although messy, sometimes we have progressed. In places like having this kind of facility easily freeway, where then our leader, Ron Gonzalez, had really insisted that we have something that's on the east side that will provide that services for the residents of the east side. And so, from my point of view, our social, political, and environmental justice issues are of the 21st century. And folks like the father of our transportation, Dierdon Sr., who has been one of my mentors in helping me understand the complexity and the necessity for having something like transit going to Berryessa and completing parts was necessary. So we are consciously addressing while we accomplished a great task to complete it. And the Berryessa station is but one step towards that completion and address our collective target, a more perfect place. Thank you.
All right, you can do better than that. He got us a lot of money. Let's hear a round of applause for Mike Honda. All right. I now would like to invite up Assemblymember Canson Chu to join us for a few comments. Assemblymember Chu was a San Jose council member for many years before becoming part of the state legislature, where he continues to be an incredible advocate for the South Bay. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Good morning, everyone. This is really a great day for Assembly District 25. I have the honor to cut the ribbon at the Warm Spring in 2007 with Tom, and this is the second one in Milpitas, the third one in Berryessa, and I'm hoping that the fourth one in the Assembly District, Santa Clara, will be coming up soon. So I hope everyone is well and healthy. It's really a historical day. As a long-time resident of Berryessa in San Jose, former San Jose City Council member, and the former VTA board member, I'm really, really so excited to see the Bart finally come to Silicon Valley, to Clara, and will be beginning its services as early as 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I remember attending Mayor Gonzalez as one of the state of the city. You promised to say, hey, within my 8 years, if I can get Bart down to San Jose, I'll get a train down. So now we have the real thing now, so you can rest easy. Bart is going to provide the very much needed transportation services and will help reduce the number of cars on the road, congestion, and improve the way we get around. And traffic congestion has been a major issue for Santa Clara County. And that's why, as one member of the State Assembly Transportation Committee, I have pushed to secure more funding for public transit. And I work very closely with my friend and my ally, member Clara, to also get some more relief in transportation funding for this region. When it comes to traffic relief, the district needs more mass transportation solutions, and I will continue working with my colleagues to advocate for more funding and resources to expand transit services and ease congestion. I wanted to take a minute to thank all the board members, the former board members, the current board members, the leaders in our community that has been working on this project for the last 30 years. And also a big shout out for those labor workers that actually putting their sweat and tears and build this wonderful station and will be operating the Bart train in the future for all of us. I want my deepest appreciation to you, and because of the resident overwhelmingly voted for RM3 and 2 tax measures. So I really wanted to thank all the residents, in Santa Clara County years for today's event possible. So big thanks to all of you. I wanted to say that please take advantage of the art services and come visit Berryessa and bring your bike with you and take a hike and a bike ride and our Penitential Creek Park and visit our beautiful Amazon Park. So thank you very much. Thank you.
I also just wanted to acknowledge former council member from San Jose, Forrest Williams, who was a great champion for Bart. Mayor, yeah, let's give him a round of applause. We'll be a little rowdy there. And Mayor Rich Constantine from the city of Morgan Hill, who's also on our PAC board. Let's give him a round of applause. And Carl Guardino, who led every campaign effort to bring Bart to our community. Give him a big round of applause from the leadership group. The people of our county are well known for stepping up for public transportation and infrastructure projects. Santa Clara County, for those of you who don't know, was the first self-help county in the nation where residents voted to increase their taxes to build the infrastructure we knew we needed to have a thriving community. County Supervisor Dave Cortese has been one of those fierce leaders who led these efforts and in support of these kinds of mobility improvements. Dave, please join me to say a few words.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, everyone. Well, how lucky am I, Santa Clara County Supervisor from District 3 with both Milpitas and Berryessa in my district, but congratulations to the city of Milpitas. Not enough has been said about that. I want everyone to look below those beautiful stained glass windows to the view outside, and you'll see transit-oriented development, see the housing there. That was part of the vision going back to Mayor Ron Gonzalez and even beyond about how this should work. And congratulations to Milpitas for already making that happen. I know there's much more to come. I could certainly speak as past chair and a commissioner of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, and that's tempting to do. I could speak as a person who's on my 20th year on the VTA, as a past vice mayor in the city of San Jose, and someone who was ushered into office on the city council right after Mayor Gonzalez made his pronouncement and got a couple thousand people up on their feet in the convention center who all wanted to be part of this. You know, people just wanted to be part of this. And I was one of those who was certainly inspired. But I'm going to speak as a member of the Board of Supervisors because there is a history and a common thread that goes back to the Board of Supervisors a lot further than 30 years here. And someday somebody will write the book and document that. But all the votes that were taken over the years that swung on a one-person majority, and there were many, and I don't have time in 3 minutes to go over all of those. But there are people here in this room who are responsible for making those votes happen. Those votes at the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, at the VTA, at the Board of Supervisors. Who knows how many committee votes in the legislature or in Congress that people like Mike Honda had to swing or two. And that's part of the history of this. But earlier when we were in San Jose, Rod Diridon wasn't acknowledged in this kind of public way, and I'd like to ask him to stand up and take it. Rod, please. Thank you. I think it's helpful to remember that all along the way, people stood for possibility. You had to stand for possibility. There was no guarantee or assurance. Had to stand for possibility. Rod was one of them. Real quick this way. In 1968, when Ron Gonzalez was tagging along with his father, Bob Gonzalez, to community meetings, when I was tagging along with my father, Dominic Cortese, to community meetings, I was brought to St. James Park in San Jose, where the first time ever I saw a meeting and a display of what it would look like to bring Bart to the, not only around the bay, everyone says around the bay. an electric train under the water. This was Kurt Vonnegut stuff. This was people standing for possibility that you could do something, we could do something. A county that only had a $150 million budget at the time could stand for the possibility of something people had never seen or done before in the Bay Area. And all these people who have been acknowledged all along the way stood for that. And there should be congratulations. And what a wonderful day in the midst of civil unrest and a pandemic to have this kind of joy today. That's what I felt like when I took the train over here. Just a tremendous amount of joy. Ron, thanks for all you've done. Mike Honda, thanks for all you've done. Kim Yeager, who was over in San Jose, served on the Metropolitan Transportation Commission before I did and during the time I did. And when we were walking in today, said exactly what I was talking about. Someday, people will hear the backstory about all those tough votes that had to be taken to get this done. And if there was ever a person instrumental on the MTC for getting this station here, because he was willing to help work with Scott Haggerty and swing the votes to get Warm Springs done, it was Ken Yeager, and I just want to give him a shout out. And thank you, Scott. I will tell you, as a longtime member of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission and regional government for 20 years also, we could not have ever asked for a better ally at the regional level than Supervisor and current MTC Chair Scott Hager. He stood with Santa Clara County on every single vote since his initial meeting with Ron Gonzalez in 2001. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Chavez. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. Congratulations to everyone. Go party.
But party with social distancing. That's what you heard him say. That's what you heard my colleagues say. Thank you so much, Dave. And my job was going to be to introduce Scott Haggerty, but that was already done. So can I ask Scott Haggerty to come forward? He's a member of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, the chair of MTC, has been a champion for this partnership for so long. He deserves a huge round of applause. Let's thank Scott so much for his leadership and his friendship.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate that opening by my mother, David Cortese. He'll be a fine senator. And district when I retire in January. So it's been great working with you. It is truly an honor to be here today to discuss the opening of VTA and Bart, the line from my hometown anyways, and moving into the Berryessa stations. As chair of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, I offer congratulations on behalf of the entire MTC organization. Speaking as an Alameda County Supervisor, District 1, however, I say we've done it. It's been a long career goal of mine to see this happen. Over 2 vibrant counties are now connected. This is the accomplishment we can all be proud of. It is truly amazing how something so big can start from a very small misunderstanding. If you would just let me explain. Over 20 years ago, I was listening to somebody that I deeply respect, and I have profound honor to work with him, and that was Mayor Ron Gonzalez. He was giving his State of the City speech, and I was listening to it on the radio. And he was calling for a Caltrain-type link between Bart and Union City and downtown San Jose. The crowd he was speaking to broke into a loud, thunderous applause. Just like me, they thought he wanted to extend Bart. I called Mayor Gonzalez that very next day. We convened a meeting, and by the way, Mayor Gonzalez, I have it. Do you know the way to San Jose? So we convened that meeting on August 2nd at the Fremont Main Library. And I recall bringing a very large boombox. I know the way to San Jose as everyone arrived. We in fact knew the way to San Jose, and soon after started working to craft a strategy to extend Bart to Warm Springs, Fremont, and then further into the Santa Clara County. Things just kind of took off there, and I would like to say, with the tireless efforts of Carl Gordino, and many other Silicon Valley leaders, we just got going. I want to say just how proud and humble I am to have played a role in the beginning. And I remember working with Cindy Chavez at those meetings in Milpitas City Hall and thinking, what a phenomenal leader. She was then, I believe, a council member. This project has nearly spanned my entire career as a county supervisor. My 10 years with regional transportation agencies, including positions of chair of both MTC and the Alameda County Transportation Commission. It has taught me the value of collaboration and partnerships. It has certainly taught me a lot about patience, but it has also taught me strategic, setting aspirational goals and working. There are many who have very challenging projects steadily forward through the years. Reaching this goal today, the aggregate of dozens of marginal. For this, there are many people that I think should be acknowledged. I certainly believe this project would not happen without the leadership of Mayor Ron Gonzalez. No way. Supervisor Dave Cortese, and as I mentioned, Cindy Chavez, Dorothy Duggar, Tom Margrove, and you know, there's a guy named Steve Heminger whose name has not come up today, the executive director of MTC, that during the downturn of the economy in 2008, he said, what a great time to get some contractors to build a tunnel under Fremont's Lake Elizabeth. Saved us hundreds of millions of dollars. He needs to be acknowledged. And then, oh, okay. And I would personally like to thank, and I don't know if she's here, but she knows more about Bart than anybody at Bart, and that's Marianne Payne. Are you here, Marianne? She's currently helping me on getting the extension done over in the Tri-Valley. And also, when we pulled together this meeting, I hired a lady named Erlene DeMarcus. Erlene helped me on this project too. So I wanted, this project will serve people in our communities, it'll shape the urban form as we develop plans unfolds around it. It'll connect us to Silicon Valley and beyond as we achieve our mega regional connections. It has a lasting strategy for all who work through the years to make this vision a reality. It is truly something to celebrate. I would like to say that the following year, after that time I listened to Mayor Gonzalez, he invited me to the State of the City speech. And there he proclaimed that he was going to take the A's to San Jose. I chose not to work with him on that one. Thank you.
There you go. Friendship only goes so far. There. Thank you very much. Let's give Scott another round of applause, because he really helped make this happen in so many ways, both seen and unseen. What you surely noticed when you came here today is what a tremendous transformation this whole area has gone through. I have to say the city of Milpitas has been bullish, bold, and visionary in the way they've built around the transit center in their town. And what really was amazing is that Milpitas Transit Area specific plan to put housing, retail, and office so people could have transit access to live, work, and shop in Milpitas. You know, in some ways, Milpitas has been understated. It's been so collaborative with everybody, professional, and have played such a leadership role that they've almost been, I mean, it would be easy to forget their contributions because their contributions have been so elegant and seamless. Let's give a round of applause to Milpitas for their leadership, for really generations of leadership. And with that, it gives me a great pleasure to invite Vice Mayor Bob Nunez to represent the city, because Rich Tran is actually, I think he's in the service and he's doing his contribution now. And you'll, all right, let's give Bob Nunez a wild round of applause. We are in Milpitas.
So our mayor is deployed still, and he wished he could be here. And actually, you'd get a much better speech if he were here. So, need to go back because I heard more of the history there about all the things Milpitas did and all the persons that were involved. So I'm going to just hit some of the things that I think, and I looked at this sign right here. It's the Transit Center. Yes, Bart's here, and we're thankful for that. It probably is the crown jewel, but it's light rail. It is bus line. If persons are going to come then to go see the rest of Santa Clara County. One of the things about the current council, and I want to make sure that the, they could stand because Dominguez and Montano. Something that was said is we were given a game plan, and what every council that was elected was able to do is take the plan that was there and move it forward. We didn't try to change it. And so when the supervisor said, look out this window, we just kept building because that's what we saw the game plan to be, and we're building here. If you could see out here, we're building houses, and the density is there. So in fact, this is not going to be empty when you come and look there. But it took somebody to actually show us and teach us how to do that. And so if our city manager could stand. Steve Karras. It took somebody to help us understand what that really meant, and he took to do that. We see ourselves really being a city that wants to be a true partner to all of those agencies that come here. And I heard a lot of names that I remember seeing either as a superintendent, as the school board member, and I was a council member. But the name I've heard often and that I remember meeting with or listening to was Ron Gonzalez. So Ron, if you could stand. One of the things that you go to a city and you say, who are those persons that are really moving things, not just talking heads? So I remember when I got here 14 or 15 years ago, listening to Ron talk about what this county, what this area could be, and he was talking about it then, and he was talking about that to future leaders. And I listened, and then I came back, 3 years later, he was still talking about it to a whole different group of future leaders. And as I go to different areas, his name comes up more and more often. He has taken that idea about what it takes to be a leader, what it takes to be a true leader. I've seen some of his ideas really come to fruition, but it never changes. The name that comes up in all of those discussions, no matter what area, education, helping the homeless, transportation, is yours, Ron. And so I, for one, want to say thank you, because when somebody talked about the East Side, don't really talk. The East Side isn't San Jose; it's just the East Side. And so, thank you for bringing this station here and having it really have not just the bus station, but the transit center. And if you really want to take a look at how effective this can be, VTA and Bart get to this point. And I enjoyed it, and I was glad the last year that our mayor was on the VTA board and that I was an observer. I'm enjoying my time there now more that this is done. And so I look forward to being with Nuria much more now. Thank you.
So my name is Bob Powers, and I am the general manager at Bart. And it's an honor to be here. I have a couple of remarks I wanted to make, but I wanted to just start with a concept that was brought up by Supervisor Cortese and the Vice Mayor. So if you just vision rolling up those crumbles, look out the window that developed, those open. You look out the, and as I was listening to these speeches and looking out that window, 2 VTA light rail trains were coming in and a bus rolled up. And talk about a transit center, as the vice mayor said, and the connectivity of 2 great systems. We're bringing BART and VTA together. So you can see coming down, getting off of BART, jumping on VTA, and getting home, whether it's rail or bus, and buses are coming in. I'm sitting here, and Supervisor Cortese mentioned it, and then the light rail train rolls by, and I'm like, boy, what an opportunity for me as the GM in my tenure to be up here, because all of your leadership here, the elected officials, in working with the transit agencies, those that are here now, and those that have come, before you, and the GMs that have come way before me, the Scott Haggertys of the work that have been on this project, and the Ron Bugans and Ron seniors, who really, it's their vision that brought this together. I'm the GM of elected officials for your leadership here, but for you and your happening right now. So thank you very much. 2 other points I do want to make sure that I get out there. So public transit has been being provided by the men and women, whether it's for VCA or AC, it doesn't matter, since COVID hit us. And the men and women who have been out there providing that service for essential workers continue to provide that service as we look for, a cure for this. I just wanted a shout out to them. They really are heroes, and they will be operating this system. The system will be in revenue service for about 4 hours tomorrow morning by this time. So just a thank you to those folks there. One more thing before I introduce the next speaker. It was said earlier today about partnerships, and it's the partnership between the transit agencies and the consulting community out there, whether it's the designers, the contracting community, the builders. It's the partnership with our labor partners, ATU, SEIU, AFSCME, the carpenters, the iron workers. Without those partnerships, we probably wouldn't be here today. So I wanted to acknowledge that. And then I also wanted to acknowledge I would say, the partnership right now between BART and VTA could be held up as a model for how transit agencies and agencies in general, doesn't mean they have to be a transit agencies, are working together to deliver to the public. So I just want to thank your Fernandez for your leadership and your partnership. We're on. She and I are on, with on this Blue Ribbon Committee as we look at better connectivity in the region, and with Supervisor Haggerty's leadership and Mary out there, I look forward to those discussions. It's kind of a new beginning on better connectivity in the Bay Area. So without much more from me, it is really an honor to introduce the next speaker. One, that she is one of my bosses, but it's an honor for me to introduce BART Board President Latifah Simon. And hold up, President, let me just say a few things. So President Simon, you don't know it, that her leadership and vision are widely acknowledged, both in the state and at the national level. Many of you know Governor Gavin Newsom now has her leading this very profoundly important reforming discussion going on right now on policing. And she is leading that effort and was appointed by the governor. And I just wanted to take a moment to express how much I admire and learn from President Simon. Uses compassion, uses wisdom and courage. And she is really the leader that's going to carry BART in a lot of the region through these very historic making days here. So President Simon.
A little bit of pressure. I guess I really got to get it together the next 3 minutes, don't I? I love this guy. And I'm really inspired today for so many reasons. So I want to tell a quick story. And I have some talking points here, but I think the story may be more profound. I was talking to my little 9-year-old last night, and we're talking about her dad. The anniversary of his death is on Monday. It'll be 6 years. He died from leukemia. And I was talking to her about people of faith. And she was like, well, who are people of faith? And I swear for God, I thought in my mind transit workers, urban planners, right? Literally thinking about today, folks who can see the unseen, the electeds who, advocates who have committed the last 35 years to seeing a vision that folks thought could never happen. Why I think transit is so critical in this moment, historically, and in the future is this connection is not just about trains and tracks. You all knew, you all saw a future of connecting folk. Bart and VTA believe in something that I've come to embrace. It's a lexicon, we call it transit justice. That people across the Bay Area must have the right to not only be connected, to have safe and reliable and affordable opportunities for their mobility. I myself am a transit-dependent person, never driven a car. I was born legally blind. For folks like me, the tens of thousands of folks, and hopefully the millions of folks who will be in this station, you give us an opportunity to make our choices, where we live, where we work, how we visit our children, our grandmothers, where we shop. When we think of civil society, there are folks who learn from you. What you all have done, you thought it through. Transportation is about connectivity. It is about moving now. This beautiful, beautiful station represents a vision for 5+ counties. The Bay Area is so thankful for the dreamers, for the people of faith who thought in something that could possibly happen outside of your lifetime. Well, today is the day, and I am so thankful. VTA and Bart, coupled with the thousands of folks who dug deep ditches, literally, figuratively, spiritually, and financially, to make today happen. As the president of the Bart Board of Directors, we are so thankful, and we cannot wait to get going. Thank you.
Now, how did it happen that I have to follow President Latifah Simon? Preach, sister, preach. That was beautiful. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm Maria Fernandez, General Manager, CEO of the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority. Go VTA. And just a little while ago, we cut the ribbon at the Berryessa station, and now we're here in Milpitas. So I am so grateful to the men and women who made this. I first want to thank Chavez, not the baseball player, but our very efficient labor person who's been cleaning each one of these podiums each time we step up here. Thank you, Pablo, making sure that we continue to be safe. And I want to thank all of you for wearing your mask. I have to take mine off just for a few minutes. I also want to thank our board chair, Chavez. She is just an amazing leader. She is extremely eloquent, as you all know and have known for many, many years. And she has been really the rock that got us to this place, because it was many a times when there was hope was not a strategy. And he was our cheerleader. He kept us going. So much. Chairperson and Supervisor Chavez. I have to admit that I'm very giddy as I look around and take in this accomplishment. You keep going and you manage and you have meetings and you're hopeful that things are going to get you to the end of the project. And this on changes that the project is making, slowly at first and then very quickly. I'm going to share a very, very short story. 7 years ago, when I was thinking whether I was going to take this job, I had the opportunity to be given a tour by a young engineer by the name of Brent Pierce. And Brent is standing right there in that gray suit. And Brent said, there's something I need to show you. So he drove me up to Milpitas. And we stood on the platform of the light rail train that Bob was just referring to, the Milpitas station. And he said, look over there. That is where the new BART station is going to be built. Now, I have to admit, there were some tractors out there, there was some earthwork taking place. So it was hard to visualize, and I had not seen the rendering. But through his eyes, I was able to see that vision. And then he said, look behind you. And all of those empty warehouses, there's going to be a lot of housing and development taking place. And fast forward 7 years. And this community, for those of you who live here, grew up here, this community is so transformed that anyone who had not been here for 20 years would not even recognize it. So thank you, Milpitas, City of Milpitas, to the leadership, elected officials, planners, city managers over the years, for making sure that this project and this investment was not going to go to waste, to making sure that that transit-oriented development will create a transit-oriented community that would not only use this station, but help bring the invigorated feeling and the quality of life experience to this region. So thank you. I look at this station and it is truly a gateway. This is the first stop in Santa Clara County on the BART line. So now BART has connected another county to its string of pearls. So thank you, BART, for your leadership and your partnership. And I can't help but mention the architecture, and so much has been said. Each of our stations look very different because they take in the character of the area where they're being built. And the beautiful, I call it beautiful now, it was painful when they were being installed, but the beautiful artwork just adds another dimension. There's space for art in transportation. There's a place for art in our lives and world. And in things that we're dealing now with, there's a place for art in healing. So I celebrate this station, I celebrate its features, and I celebrate the fact that it continues to bring together people who are looking for opportunities, who are looking for connections, and we have used, but it's not a word that we'll ever overuse, connectivity, and that's what public transportation does. It connects people to places. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your investment. Thank you, Santa Clara County residents, for paying the taxes that made today possible. And there's one last significant improvement I wanted to mention, because in addition to the stations and the track and the parking structure and all the great men and women, from the planners to the designers and the contractors, and then those who worked on the project and those who will be, as we were reminded today, operating and maintaining this system. We were also in partnership with the Valley Water and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers with creating the Upper Berryessa Creek flood protection of the nearby creek. And that was an important contribution of this project, because most of this is a flood zone, as you all know. And it's very important not only to maintain and ensure that this investment is sustained for decades, centuries, hopefully to come, but that we can also protect the area around it. So these are the kinds of things that investment in infrastructure can do. And I am happy to be in the leadership position today to celebrate the accomplishment of many of who are in this room that are part of the VTA team, that were here from the very beginning, and those who joined us throughout the journey, and every single member of the BART team, those who are here and those who are back at headquarters, because it's in true partnership that you can achieve your goals. We were all rowing together, and that's what got us to this shore. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So now we're here because there's something special that needs to happen, but there's a few housekeeping before I invite you to stand back here. So for those of you who came with us from Berryessa, after we cut the ribbon, I'm going to ask you to follow the signs. And I won't tell you which direction because this is your wayfinding opportunity to use Bart. Follow the signs to the Berryessa platform so that we can get you back to Berryessa. And those who joined us here in Milpitas that want to do the inaugural ride, we'll be taking you to Berryessa. The train coming back was at 12:20, but now that it's 25, we will be adjusting that. So just listening out for some of those for that information. So now I'm going to ask all to join me up here so that we can do ribbon cutting. Yes. Thanks again.